And good morning, everybody. Well, got some of your attention. We'll try this again. Good morning, everybody. All right, if we could go ahead and get everything quieted down, and we'll get things started and ready to go this morning. Welcome back, I guess is what we should say. Seems like the summers went by pretty quick. And here we find ourselves again. Of course, you know that's a little different this year in that we had to, because of the extra requirements from KDE and our own school system, we had to extend this out to a 3-day event. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. We've got some new stuff we're going to be going over throughout the course of the 3 days. And if at any time, as always, certainly if you have questions, I want you to ask questions because I want everybody to be clear on anything that is new, certainly. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get things started, and we'll just have our trip coordinator, Miss Daisy Creech, come up. So if you would, give her a round of applause and welcome her up this morning.
Hello, guys and gals. Glad to be back. There's a few things I want to go over. It's pretty much the same thing, but there's a few things that's been brought to my attention with the coaches and the ADs wanting to know about the trip pay and how we're doing it. On your trip sheet here that's pulled up on there, at the two bottom lines, we got to make sure before it's turned back into me that the coach, whoever, has to sign those two lines at the bottom. So if they're not signed, I can't accept it. Somebody has got to sign that other than you all. So that lets me know and they know that the times and stuff is correct. They know all about it. So they don't come back on me or come back on you with questions on the time. So just make sure that you sign your two lines and then let the coach or whoever sign the other two lines. If you're doing a take and drop trip, I know there was questions brought up with that. If you're doing a take and drop, you will get 1 hour pay. That's for you to stop and get something to eat, use the bathroom, whatever. Plus your mileage. You will get paid mileage and 1 hour as the trip driver. Excuse me? You add that on there. You always add your pre-trip on there. That's extra 15 minutes because some of you all have your own buses. You still have to do the pre-trip. Yes?
What if you're dropping all the way in
Louisville, you know, I can work with that, but I have to talk to the AD. If they're wanting you to wait, you put your time down. You know, if you're sitting and waiting with them, you put your time down, okay? If they're wanting you to wait a little while longer, something like that, you put your time down. But if it's just a take and drop and they say, hey, I'm good, you can go back. That's when you'll get your hour. Because I know everybody has to stop and use the bathroom and grab something to eat or whatever. They have come back on me on that. Some has been put in 2 or 3, 4 hours for just a take and drop. But if there's any questions later on with that, just get with me. But that's what they're wanting to do, just pay for an hour for a take and drop. Okay? Also, when you're doing your time sheets, on your time sheets, down there where it says trips, just make certain that you just put the trip number that's up on your trip sheet on the upper right-hand corner. Don't put no time down, nothing like that, just the number, okay? So that kind of gives them that you have done that trip in that week. And you all know out-of-town trips, the bus capacity, 54, that's it, 54. You know, we don't want to overmax and then something happen, a wreck or something, and then we're way over capacity. So we need to make sure it's 54 out of town. In town, not so much. We can just kind of cram them in there. I prefer nobody to stand up. If they is kids and stuff standing up, then you need to notify me. Then I will get with them and say, hey, listen, we got too many standing up and stuff that could get hurt. So just notify me and I'll get with the AD or the coach and say, we got to have another bus. Any questions? Pay's not changed. It's $12.50 an hour for trips, 45 cents per mile. I think that's all I have to say. I know I was, but just make sure on that one sheet that they do sign the 2 bottom lines, okay? All right, guys, let's get started on this new year. Thank you all.
And I don't know if she covered it or not, but if you're a new driver and you want to drive trips, you just need to come and see Daisy and let her know, and she'll get you signed up to do those trips. I'm sorry? Thank you. If you did not sign in for the trips, if you didn't sign in for this training, please do so at the break. We got to have your signature on those sheets to prove attendance. And then while you're out there, there's also a sign-up sheet to do trips. So if you're interested, if you're a new driver and you're interested in doing trips, get your name on that sheet. Who we got next? Chris and Mark? Help me welcome Mr. Mark Aiden and Chris Setters in for the next portion of your update here. Gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning. I got a few things here on the, if you don't know me, I'm the parts guy with the cleaning supplies and keys, fuel keys, whatever. First off, cleaning supplies, front foyer, we have paper towels, all-purpose cleaner, window cleaner. Just try not to hoard it up. And remember, the aerosol cans can't be in the bus, okay? Next thing I got is the pressure washer area. When you pull into the pressure washer area, please look, because we've replaced hoses and spray nozzles every year, 2 or 3 of them, because people run over them or yank them out of the pole there. So just be cautious when you pull in there. Also, pressure washer. If it's 35 degrees or lower, we're not pressure washing, okay? Because it'll bust those hoses. See, the next thing I got is keys. That's a big subject. Sub-drivers, if you're driving a bus out of one of these schools, when you get a key out of that box, make sure when you get done driving that bus in the morning, or if you know you're going to be driving in the evening, just put it back in that box. The new code is going to be 026. 026 is the new code. Let's see here, Mark's got a note here. Always take your key, even when you're leaving it for an inspection or repair. Take your key, because we have extra keys here. So just make sure you take your key. If you do a trip and you're in a bus and you bring it back, or you got the key off the board in the break room there or snack room, just if the door's locked, just put it in the trip box over there by the other office, okay? And we'll get it back from there. Let's see here. And if you need a fuel key, which I know some of you do, I know the new ones definitely do. We just got the system back up. So just come see me and I'll get you a fuel key. That fuel key is for you, not the bus. It's got your name on it. So don't leave it in the bus when you're, driving a spare bus or something. Take that key with you, because that's your key. Also, try to keep up with them best you can. Bus keys and fuel keys. And the last thing I got is the fuel pumps. I know we have trouble with the fuel pumps from time to time. We've tried to update the program, and we're working on some more updates. But when you pull in there to fuel your bus in the morning or evening, don't leave your bus. Stay with your bus, because those nozzles, sometimes they kick off, sometimes they don't. And I can't replace one every time they don't kick off. So just stay with it, because you usually got people behind you wanting to get fuel too. So don't run to the bathroom, just fuel your bus, then park and do what you got to do, okay? And I believe that's all I got. Let's just have a good year, and if you need anything, just come see me, all right? Thank y'all.
Good morning. What I'm going over this morning is going to be in your driver monitor manual, anywhere from page 39 through 43. So anything I tell you, you can look it up in the book. I want to thank mechanics assistants for working hard this summer to get everybody's buses ready to go. They actually do that year round. Try to keep you all on the road the best we can with the least amount of breakdowns possible. You can pick your buses up starting today, if it is convenient for you, through Friday. I need all buses. If you do not park at the garage, I need all buses moved and picked up by the end of the day Friday. They're having open house here Monday, and they want the parking lot down here cleared. So if you can't by Friday and you come to get your bus and you thought it was down here behind the high school, it won't be there Monday morning. We will move them for you, but it'll save us a lot of trouble if you could figure out a way to pick your bus up before end of day Friday. Pre-trip sheets, you all still doing a great job on that. I don't need to touch on that other than make sure you do fill them out and turn them in. If you have what they call a dirty pre-trip, if you find something wrong with your bus and it needs to be turned in, it needs to be turned in that day when you find it and put it on my desk. If you put it in that black box on Marshall's door, I might not see it for a week, because I don't have to do those daily or weekly. I just have to get them and make sure that they're in the proper file in case KDE comes down. And some of you is already familiar with that. You'll wait and turn them in once a month, which is not a problem, unless there's a problem with the bus. Come in for inspection unless otherwise told so. Park in the back over by the wash rack. I think most of you is familiar. If you are a new driver, that is on page 43 in your handbook. And if you don't understand it by the picture, come see me at the bus garage and I'll show you where you need to park. Damage to a bus. Anytime you have damage to a bus, you need to report all that damage to me, Chris. If you can't get a hold of us, give it to Mr. Rob Hale. Let someone know that you've had an incident with a bus, or if you find damage on a bus before you take it and you're afraid you're going to get blamed on it, just take a picture, send it to me, let me know, because there's been times that people have bumped into stuff, and it's hard sometimes to tell when you bump into something with a bus that's 38,000 pounds. Disabled bus, if your bus is broke down, Billy Bob Johnson up the street cannot come pull you out with his tractor. Okay? Yeah, it sounds like that would be a great thing to do, but you cannot do it. If it's not Laurel County Board of Education board member or a mechanic or a contractor that we have hired, nobody else pulls your bus. Nobody else works on your bus. You get a hold of us on the radio, we'll take the proper steps, get to you as quick as possible, make sure we get another bus to you to put your kids on. Just want to add one more thing to what Chris said about the keys. If you're coming to get a trip bus, you won't find the trip key on the board. I took those off last year because people were picking up the keys on the board in the snack room, and then they got in the evening, garage is locked up, they go put the key in the box over by Daisy's office, and then I was losing keys. So if you have a trip, the key will be in the trip box by Daisy's office. You won't find one in the garage unless you come see me. They're locked up. I'm just looking because me and him had doubled up on some of this stuff, so I'm reading so you don't have to hear it twice. Remember, if you're on the south ramp out here, if you have an issue with your bus, the breakdown procedure is to let everyone else get past you. We will get to you after everyone else leaves and bring you another bus. Or when you tell me what your problem is, I will let you know whether to stay in line, come on up to the garage. We'll switch out up there. I think I'm just about done. Excuse me. We're done 45 minutes early? We are running early? Okay. Amazing grace, how sweet. You sure you want me to kill it? I done did. Let's see. The what? Oh, yeah. We're going to try this again. Does anybody know how slow 5 miles an hour is? Average person walks 3 miles an hour. And I'm not average. Your bus shouldn't be going much faster than what I'm walking right now in our parking lot. And we have asked and we have hollered on the radio. I don't know where everybody has to be that they come flying in there on 2 wheels. But from here on out, if we see the bus numbers, it's a good possibility you'll get reprimanded and you're going to go see this man right here. We've almost had people hit. They've come in and said, I about got run over. There is no need for you to fly across the parking lot in the garage. Absolutely uncalled for. Does everybody understand that? Yeah. And don't be parking behind the garage between bays 4, 5, and 6. And I know a lot of you just love to do it. You'll whip in through there, you'll park back there, and you'll run in to see DD, or you'll go in to see Rob or somebody, and you don't realize it, but you get in there and you wind up drinking a cup of coffee. You run into Pat and you're talking to him. You finally get to see Rob, and then Rob sends you to DD. Before you know it, your bus has been sitting in my way for 45 minutes. So when you come out and you can't find your bus, look for it. The old road is where it will be sitting. So it's going to be a long walk to go get it. I know that sounds cruel, but again, over the years, we've asked and asked and asked not to park there. Now, if you need to run in for a second and you park in front of buses that's already parked there, 9 times out of 10, if the bus is already parked there, you're not going to be in nobody's way because they've done parked and they're on their way home. But do not park behind the bus garage. And if you don't for sure where that's at, the T-vans are lined up back there also. That area where the T-vans are, do not park. All right, got anything else I might have missed? We're good. Anybody have any questions? Uh-huh. More than the afternoon, no, it's not. But in the mornings, you're normally already parked and going home. You're probably in before anybody else is in the morning. During the day and the afternoon, no, they do not. They need to park regular like everybody else is parked if you have to go in and see somebody. Or you shouldn't be able to move their bus because they're not supposed to leave their bus, the key in the bus. But if they did, just move it and let them try to find it. We'll play the hunt game. Yo. Yeah, that's another thing. Some of you don't want to be blocked in, so you leave enough room behind you for another bus because, well, if I stop here, I won't be able to get out if I go all the way back. Well, it's like this. Everybody in this room is supposed to be at the school at a specific time, so unless you're wanting to be there 30 minutes early, you shouldn't be in that big of a hurry. Nobody should have you blocked in. Unless someone has got a spare bus and they blocked you in and got in their bus and left. That being said, we're still working on that one. I've been doing that for 8 years. Because you come get a spare bus, you go run, do whatever you got to do. If you left it for inspection, I give you a spare bus to go home in. Well, when you come back, the parking spot that the bus was in is now taken up by somebody else. So then you back into somebody else. I've not got that situation solved. Parking lot's not big enough. I wish there was room for each and every bus to have its own specific parking spot. And I started to mark off that area by Daisy's office and put 10 buses in there reserved, marked off in red, but I knew it wouldn't do me no good because y'all probably some of you park there anyway. But that's where we was going to put the trip buses. And he's got his hand up over. And while she was driving, she always had her bus parked there too. They ain't able to walk. They're old. They can't walk more than 20 feet. I can't hear a word you're saying. Selective hearing. Anything else? He said I had 45 minutes to kill. All right, let's have a good, safe year.
All righty. Got some changes. One of the new things we're going to have, Faith Holt here does our physicals there in the shop. She wants to address some issues about our physicals, and then I'll go over some stuff when she gets done. So if you would, help me welcome Miss Faith Holt.
Good morning. So most of you all probably know me, but my name is Faith Holt. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I do the DOT physicals here for the bus garage. I've done most of your all's probably, but these guidelines apply anywhere you go. So if you go to me or you go to Dog Patch, these guidelines are going to apply either place. So first of all, you need to make sure you have your driver's license with you and ready, because we do have to verify proof of identity by that. Have a complete list of all of your medicines that you take at home. I have a lot of problems with that. People won't know what medicines they take, or they'll write down blood pressure or cholesterol medicine, but I need to know the actual name, because some of these medications have side effects that I have to make sure you're not having. So make sure you have all of that. You can bring the bottles with you if you would rather do that, and I can write them down for you. That's fine as well. You have to make sure you list all your previous major surgeries. So another thing, if you actually are taking medicine for blood pressure or high cholesterol, diabetes, any of those chronic health conditions, you do have that condition even if it's under control. So make sure you mark that on the health form as well. So one of the big things that people have had questions about over the years that I've been doing this is if you've had any kind of heart issue, especially a heart attack, or have had a stent, anything like that done in your heart, you do have to have a clearance from your cardiologist saying that you are cleared to drive a school bus. So the guidelines that we follow, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration says that the guidelines are the same for anybody that has a CDL physical. So whether you drive a semi or you drive a school bus, it doesn't matter. We have to follow the same guidelines for all of that. So there is a form that I am developing for you all to use to take to the cardiologist to have that filled out if you've had a heart attack, a stent, open heart surgery, a pacemaker, anything like that, anything cardiac, you need to have that form filled out and bring that with you to your DOT exam so that we can go over that. Technically, yes. Just because of the medicines that you have to take with AFib, we have to make sure that those are safe, adequate, and effective. So if you have sleep apnea, this is a little bit different than what I have been doing with you all, but if you have sleep apnea, the guidelines say that if you're wearing a CPAP, and you have to wear a CPAP if you have sleep apnea that is moderate to severe, then you have to bring that form showing that you have been compliant with that. A lot of people have brought it for just the last month. Technically, it's supposed to be for the last year. You have to show me that you've been compliant with your CPAP for the past year. If you have not been compliant for the last year, I can only give you a 30-day certificate until you can bring that 30-day certificate or that 30-day report back showing that you've been compliant, and then I can do it for 60 days, 90 days, so it's a long, drawn-out process if you don't bring that year-long form with you when you come showing that you've been compliant with your CPAP. If you wear glasses, make sure you bring those with you when you drive or when you do the exam, because we do have to do an eye exam. Now, as far as high blood pressure goes, not everybody has high blood pressure, but most people in this room are being treated for high blood pressure. So regarding the guidelines for that, your blood pressure has to be less than 140/90. And if it is not, and it's less than, 179/109, I can give you a 3-month certificate for you to get your blood pressure under control. If I have to do that, you absolutely have to go to the doctor, let them adjust your medications, and when you come back within that 3-month period, if your blood pressure is less than 140/90, I can give you a 1-year certificate. If your blood pressure is greater than 180/110, now that's either number, you are disqualified. You are no longer allowed to drive until that blood pressure is under control. So that's been different than what I have been doing. If you're an insulin-dependent diabetic, you need to make sure that you have that insulin-dependent form from the FMCSA to be filled out by your primary care doctor or whoever is controlling your diabetes. Bring that with you when you come. I have to make sure that your blood sugar and everything is under control. Now, another thing, if you're a non-insulin dependent diabetic, I have found that you can actually be certified for 2 years if your blood sugar has been under control. And there is a form as well for non-insulin dependent diabetics that you can have us print off and take to your primary care doctor. And they can show us that your blood sugar's been under control, you've not had any episodes of super low blood sugar or anything like that, then I can actually certify you for 2 years. You do have to get a urine specimen every time. It's not a drug screen, so I don't have to have but very little in the cup, but I do need that each time. The reason that we do the urine is we actually are checking for any underlying health conditions that you may not realize you have. So we check for protein in your urine, of course glucose, and blood. If you have protein and or blood in your urine, that can mean that you have an underlying kidney issue that you don't know about. And if you have glucose in your urine and you're not diabetic, of course that can mean that you're diabetic. So if we find those things in your urine, it's not a disqualification, but it is a sign to us that we need to have you follow up with your primary care doctor to evaluate those a little bit further. When you get the urine specimen, please leave it in the bathroom. Don't bring it back to David's office. He don't want that on his desk. So just leave it in whichever bathroom that you use it in, and I'll go in there and check it as soon as we're finished. You don't have to have your name on it or anything. Okay. Now, there's another big thing. If you, when you fill out your medical history form, and you sign that form on that second page, that is, I'll tell you exactly what the guidelines say. When you do that, you are certifying that the information you provide is accurate and complete. It also acknowledges that providing inaccurate or false information or omitting information could invalidate your examination and any certification issued based on that, and it also could result in civil or criminal penalties against the person. So you need to make sure that you are telling the truth on that paper. Don't leave anything out, because all in all, we want you all to be good, safe drivers to be transporting our children back and forth to school. Anybody have any questions? That's it. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Thank you again, Faith, for coming by and clearing that up. There is some changes, and I think that Dave's going to cover it, but I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there for you. One change, and it's not really something that just happened this year, but it's something that they are really cracking down on this year as we went through our updates for trainers. The law says that the superintendent or their designee shall designate a health provider to perform DOT physicals. So that means that we have designated providers. Faith obviously is one of those providers, and DOT physicals over in Dogpatch is the other provider. So no longer will we be able to accept DOT physicals from any doctor other than those two providers. So that's either Faith or Dogpatch. And we're just following the law. Now, what she said about those things is important in the incident that we have an accident, because what they do is they go back and they will pull your medical records. And I'm not just talking about your current CDL physical. They'll pull every CDL physical that we have on file for you. And if you listed something in 2019 and it drops off your physical 2 years later, they're going to key on that. And like she's talked about the liability or criminal or civil penalties, that's where that comes into play. So we all have, and I'm under the same rules, we all have the duty to fill out that physical form. It's got to look the same every time we do it, and then if we add a condition or add a medicine, we add that to that. You don't just drop it off. And it's for two reasons, obviously. It's for the provider to know what conditions to check for because they've got a job to do, and they fall under the same penalties. If they don't do their job, if they're remiss in their duties, they're subject to penalties and arrest. And in the event that we have an accident and we get a child hurt or worse, and there will be an investigation, then we could fall under, any of us operating a school bus could fall under criminal liability for failure to report. So it's important that you fill out those DOT physical forms completely, put every condition you have down. I go back to surgeries I had when I was 5 years old, but it's still on there. And I know it seems like, well, that's not important. It is important because that's what I filled out on my first one. And they go back and they look at that and, well, he didn't put that on there. What else has he dropped off? What is he not reporting to the medical provider? So Faith Holt, as always, you can schedule that through Dave. She's at the office typically once a month, and then DOT physicals anytime. You don't have to have an appointment. They still take walk-ins there. So that's the two providers that we can accept physicals from moving forward on that. Any questions or concerns from anybody on DOT physicals or anything that Mark or Chris or Daisy has covered up to this point? No? Speak now, or you can ask a question later. Either way, we're not going to be that rigid. I want you, if you're not clear on something, I certainly want you to be clear on it before we get done. All right, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and that's okay. We'll just get a little longer break here in a little bit. So up next is Marshall. You ready, Marshall? All right, everybody's favorite area coordinator, Marshall Rainey. Let's give him a big round of applause. Show him some love. Let him know we care about him.
Well, good morning. It's good to see each and every one of you here. Glad you showed up today, like we had a choice, right? So there's prizes out there on the table for you. Donuts. It's a prize to me. If I get a donut, I'm surprised and I'm glad about that. I want to appreciate you, the drivers that are returning from last year, for the job that you did